No. You know we'll get copyright strike for that. We will. Are you gonna put that in the video?
Hey, and welcome to another episode of SCS On The Road. We're here at the Peterbilt Denton plant in Denton, Texas. I'm Mark, and with me is Jacob White. Jacob, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your role here at Peterbilt?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the Director of Product Marketing for Peterbilt, which is an amazing job to get up every day and think about getting folks excited about the greatest truck brand in the history of North America. It's a pretty cool deal.
Absolutely. Awesome. And what do we have here behind us?
Well, so this is a special truck. So this is the most legendary truck that's ever been. It's the Model 389. It carries that heritage of the Peterbilt long and tall, the truck that every child draws when they think of a truck. You see that big square nose, long flat hood. If this isn't a truck, I don't know what is.
What do you think it is about the 389 truck that has led to such an enduring heritage with truck drivers?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. First of all, it's instantly recognizable. There is no confusing this truck for anything else on the road. Very clear, this is a Pete. Right. The other thing that I think draws folks to it is the ability to customize this truck and make it their own. And when we think about this particular truck, it belongs to the drivers as much as it belongs to us. And we're merely caretakers of this brand and of the lineage of this product.
And what can you tell us are the key features that really define the Model 389?
Yeah, I'd say the standout features of this truck start right up front. This bird on the top of the truck is certainly an iconic feature, unique to Peterbilt, and it's just beautiful to see this when you're sitting up there driving the truck. The other thing that's amazing about this truck is the bright crown. It's made out of aluminum, lightweight, corrosion-free. You have, of course, the stainless steel grille to protect all the vital engine components. These 3 bars down the front of the grille is also a distinct Peterbilt feature. Another great and distinct, unique Peterbilt feature is the pod-mounted headlights right here. This is something only we have, and really sets this truck apart and connects it back to the heritage of even the earliest Peterbilts going back to 1939. Another feature that goes all the way back to 1939 are the bicycle fenders here. You can take a look at these fenders. The shape of them is just beautiful, and it's got what we call a fender valley into the hood here. And that's really distinct and unique Peterbilt feature. Another unique Peterbilt feature is the heavy use of aluminum. It's lightweight, corrosion-free. The hood uses that material and is also put together with these huck fasteners here. It's really easy to work on this truck, to customize it, and even put it back together if something were to happen out on the road.
Right.
Another great feature of the Model 389 is something that's extremely unique and distinct are these external air cleaners. These are 15-inch stainless steel air cleaners. A lot of guys put lights in these, and whether it's inside here or along the inside, just to stand out on the road. Really strong presence out there. Another great feature are the West Coast style mirrors. These originated out in California where Peterbilts were originated, and it's just a cool feature, very sturdy, very tough, very functional, but also cool. Very cool. Another distinct feature is just the low look out of this truck. You just feel cool up there seeing that big hood out in front of you.
Absolutely. And one thing I've always heard too is that compared to other trucks, you climb into them. But with a Peterbilt, you step into it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. So let me think of a great way to explain this. So basically, when you walk up to a Peterbilt, you feel good about yourself. You open the door, you're greeted by a beautiful interior and sort of welcomed into it. You've got high quality materials on the door pad, beautiful wood grain here. So the first thing you see is the greeting with the truck. And it's very easy to climb in and out of the truck, find yourself a nice, comfortable spot, and then you're ready to roll.
All right, great. How about I join you up there in the interior and we can go over some of the key aspects of the interior?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. All right, so now we're here in the interior of the 389, and what can you tell me about this that makes drivers fall in love with it? What is it about the 389 sitting here in the driver's seat?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. Obviously it just feels like home.
Mhm.
They're used to it. It's comfortable. They know right where everything is. It's where they've been.
Right.
You get used to that. The other thing that is just epic is looking out of the glass here and seeing that long nose and that bird that I talked about earlier.
Right.
There's, cool is cool, and it always will be.
Right.
And, the spine down the middle with the hucks, and it just feels right.
It feels like you're still in that old school trucking, right? The driver-centric dash, like you said, the old school huck fasteners, the split windshield, right? Absolutely. I mean, I've had a few of these trucks myself, and I can't imagine myself buying anything else.
Yeah, well, what makes you feel cool in here? What makes you feel good?
I mean, we would always, as we were talking about, I was very big into, customizing them and stuff like that. So I always had the low ride seat, the big 20-inch steering wheel, window chops, a drop visor, and it's just, you feel like a cool guy when you're driving down the road. Everyone's looking at you, right? Get guys coming up to you at the fuel pumps and complimenting the truck. It makes you feel nice, right?
Yeah, it's perfect Peterbilt things. Slam the seat all the way
Yep.
down and stick in your hand. And I think you hit on a great point there with the customization. There's just such an aftermarket cult following for
Right.
this truck. And everybody brings this truck into their shop and they put their own spin on it, their own touch. And it's all about what distinguishes them from everybody else
Right.
out on the road, whether it's lights or visors or chrome treatment or watermelon lights or, whatever they like,
Right.
whatever makes them feel like this is theirs.
Exactly.
And that's important to us. We support that 100%. We provide an easy platform for them to customize it themselves, whether that's wiring provisions from the factory or custom paint, or even furnished by owner visor provisions.
Now, I noticed we have another truck in the shop here today. Maybe we can go take a look at that one as well.
Seems like a reasonable idea.
All right, Jake. So this kind of looks like a 389, but it seems to have its own distinct personality. What's this?
Well, so this is the new Model 589. And the fact that you can hardly tell the difference is perfect, because that's what we were going for. People love the Model 389 that we just walked through. And when we were thinking through the successor to that truck, one of the key features was that from across the road, across the way, you'd have to really squint hard to tell the difference between a 589 and a 389.
Right.
There's so many great things about a 389 that our customers love, the drivers love, and we felt that it was absolutely paramount to keep all of those. There's lots and lots of good ones. I'm guessing you want to know about them.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, so a few things that if you look at a 389, you look at a 589, you think, well, that's the same thing. So first, the bird itself is actually the identical bird from the Model 389.
Okay.
Yeah, the crown, very, very similar. Same shape, made out of aluminum, bright finish, stainless steel grill, 3 grill bars. The grill bars are a little bit different, but very, very similar. The pod headlights carried over from the Model 389. Another, like I said, distinct Peterbilt feature.
Right.
But the lighting on these are a little bit unique. It's got a daytime running light in the fender brace here. Provides a unique signature going down the road and looks great at truck stops.
Right.
The hood itself is also very, very similar, constructed of familiar lightweight aluminum, as well as those same huck fasteners. The fenders, a very similar shape, again, made out of aluminum, sturdy and tough, corrosion-free. You've got the beautiful fender valleys in between the fender and the hood. The logo itself obviously is carried over. That endures forever.
Right.
Another thing that we decided was just an absolute must for a truck like this is the 15-inch external air cleaners. Absolutely had to have it. Without these, this is not the Peterbilt traditional truck that our customers expect. The other key feature that was really important to our customers back here are the West Coast style mirrors. I like to say that with the air cleaners and the West Coast style mirrors, that's exactly what God intended for a truck like this.
Right.
You absolutely have to have it. Now, where this truck excels or elevates the experience relative to a Model 389 starts sort of in this area here. The battery box itself is all new. We're providing factory installed rocker panels, doing a little bit of that customization work for the guys to help them out and get them headed on that path to making this truck their own.
Right.
The cab itself is a stamped aluminum, lightweight, very, very high quality. You've got automotive style doors, extremely quiet, open smooth, really, really nice. I'd say the biggest highlight of this truck is when you step into the interior.
Okay, well, let's move in there and you can show us around.
Let's do it.
Okay, from in here, some things look very similar. I mean, we have that epic hood in front of us with the bird on front, but back here, things are starting to look a little different. There's much more space here between the seats. Visibility seems increased. I feel like I maybe have a little more headroom as well.
Yeah, you hit on all the points there. So there's about 8 inches more space in here in the cab between us, give you a little room to get back to the sleeper. The headroom is significantly more, and that's important for a guy like me, 6'5", even with my seat slammed all the way down to the floor, like you should.
Right.
Like you should. It's nice to have the space in here.
Yes.
The quality of the interior is much, much better.
Yeah, I've noticed. I mean, one thing we've always noticed with the Peterbilts, as much as I love them, there are times where, you know, you feel like some of the materials were a little dated, but the updating here is like, you know, you have some soft touch dash pads here and stuff. Like everything, the fit and finish seems hugely improved.
Yeah, we think of the interior of the Model 389 as classic.
Right.
You know, it endures forever and has served us extremely well and our customers for a long, long time. This interior carries forward a lot of those themes that they enjoy and appreciate about that. You've got heavy use of bright work across the dash. You've got a lot of wood grain in here. It's a new burl pattern that has resonated really, really well. You've got really, really comfortable place for the steering wheel, the seats. You can get this right where you want it. Hunker down in the seat as low as you can go, and you still got a nice view outside the windshield. You can see everything going on out there, and it's really a nice place to be. It's quiet going down the road.
Right.
The other thing that a lot of folks really appreciate about this truck, do you have any guesses on the interior, what it might be?
Cup holders?
You got it, man. You are on point. It's a real trucker right there. So the cup holders in this truck have been something that a lot of drivers have commented on being a huge enhancement versus the Model 380.
Yeah, on the 389, we only had one cup holder.
You got one cup holder. You know how many cup holders you got in here?
At least 2.
Oh, you got 4. So you got one over here in the drive-in
right.
mat pocket, and then you've got 2 here and 1 over there, and there's even one in the sleeper bunk too.
Oh, really? Oh, there's 2 back there, yeah.
A couple of them, yeah. It's
Yeah.
a lot of places to put your bottles and cups and a lot of storage. And something else that's really neat on that side of the dash, take a look at that badge there.
Yeah, I noticed this as well. It says Dawn of a Legend, and it's a numbered plaque, 44 out of 589. So
yeah, that's right. So with the launch of the Model 589, we decided to commemorate the coming of this legend, or the dawn of the legend. And the first 589 Model 589s have a serialized dash badge on there. And those are set up in the order that we build the trucks. So those first 589 trucks are really special.
now I notice on these trucks that there's been a slight change in some of the kind of design motif. This truck here, we have the ovals in the air cleaner grille and in the front grille. And this truck has gone to these rectangular holes in the grille, the air cleaner, and even on the exhaust shields. What was the decision behind that design change?
Yeah, you've got a sharp eye there. So the rectangular pattern in the grille was last seen on the Model 379, which was the predecessor to the Model 389. In fact, this rectangular shape goes all the way back to the very first Peterbilts. And there's been some evolutions of it, and this one is unique yet. But that was the idea. was to pull back some of that heritage forward into the Model 589.
Right.
And then great eye, we took it from the grill to the air cleaners. It's even in the exhaust covers if you look at the guards there. We wanted to keep that consistent throughout and really call back to the heritage of the Peterbilt.
Right. So whereas this truck was kind of a radical step forward from the 379, this truck, again, with its improvements to become more modern and more sleek, you still really, wanted to keep that heritage and go back a step in other regards to maintain that, right?
Yeah, I would say, as the caretakers of this Peterbilt brand and the lineage of the most legendary truck on the road, we've been very careful each time we've updated this truck to maintain a strong connection to its predecessors,
right?
But also make enhancements that our customers and drivers out on the road will appreciate. This truck was no different. There's great interior enhancements here, and this is a whole nother level of refinement in the Model 589.
So what are the big differences, I guess, looking at it right off the bat, would be we've got the flat split windshield on this truck and the single one-piece windshield on that truck. How do you think drivers do you think they're receptive to that change? Do you think it's, what was the thought process behind going to a single one-piece windshield?
Yeah, as we've been out talking to drivers about these trucks, the thing they've really appreciated about the big windshield is better visibility, being able to see out of the truck and having significantly better windshield wiper coverage in inclement conditions. That's been the main thing that they've appreciated. Also, having a little more light coming into the cab and you can see what's going on has been something they appreciate as well.
I did notice that. I mean, there's been a big change in trucking culture, between 2007 and 2024. Obviously we're all using a lot more electronics, and that was something that I always felt kind of was left to be desired was the, we only had a couple of 12-volt charging points. And I noticed in this one with those USB chargers, it's still the 12-volt chargers. This is definitely bringing, Peterbilt, it feels like, into the present day, into the future even, right?
Yeah, it's a great platform for technology and integrating technology into the truck. There's lots of space for big flat screen TV in here and video game systems and variety of other electronics that are just part of trucking today.
All right, Jake, thank you so much for lending us your time to show us these two legends of Peterbilt.
Yeah, not a problem. I certainly enjoy having people here and being able to share the new Model 589 with all those enthusiasts and folks that love the 389. It's certainly my pleasure.
Awesome, great. And thanks to you again. Thanks to everyone at Peterbilt. And we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you in the next one.